We're hearing now is Web 3. Policymakers need to understand the nature of Web 3.
Obviously, Web 3 and the smart contract layer 1 ecosystems are getting the most adoption.
I want to talk about a project specifically, Flux.
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 Bing, bang, boom, pow!
We've got our GPU mining portfolio, Flux still in that top spot.
Today, I'm going to show you guys how to mine Flux.
And guys, have you seen that mining Flux is crazy profitable right now?
Flux has taken off in the last few days. As you guys can see, it has skyrocketed.
Flux has mooned over $1. I could not believe it.
We were yesterday or the day before making $7, $8, $9 more using Flux than Ethereum. That's not a little bit of money, guys. You know, $1 or $2, you're kind of but $7, $8, $10, if it ever hits something like that, that's when you're kind of ooh, man, this is actually something you need to look into.
We are on the 11th month of running our Flux node currently.
There's 3 tiers. You've got Cumulus, Nimbus, Stratus. They are going to be adding another node tier.
I am still cleaning house with my Flux nodes. Right now, a Stratus node is making $2,817 per month in Flux rewards. And each Nimbus node is making $681 per month in Flux rewards.
It's up over 130% today. And everyone's been asking what is going on with Flux.
Come over here, you see they have an actual ecosystem that's thriving.
Flux dropping that Nvidia news yesterday, that Jetson, woo, that's going to be something.
The Flux blockchain will provide on-chain governance, economics, and parallel assets for interoperability with other blockchains and DeFi access.
The purpose of supporting these parallel assets is to allow users to take advantage of all the benefits from each chain, such as higher throughput, more developed DeFi ecosystems, and much more.
Flux runs on its native currency of the same name that uses an open source proof of work algorithm, and the team has made efforts to stay as decentralized as possible with no venture capital investors and no corporate board of directors.
With Flux being listed on Binance and users now being able to deposit and trade Flux tokens on the smart chain, the social volume has skyrocketed as well and put the community on notice for a potentially bright future for this token and its decentralized cloud infrastructure.
Have been talking with Flux, and they're done by Zelcore. They do a number of our different programs. They run the Decentralized Node program so that you can run a full node and receive KDA for it. Think of them like a decentralized Amazon type of thing. And they've been very useful for KDA, and we've enjoyed working with them for the past 2 years. I mean, if we're the next settlement layer, we're the settlement layer of the future, that might make you the Amazon of the future.
Definitely a shout out to the guys at Flux and Zelcore. We enjoyed working with them as well.
Aujourd'hui, je vais vous présenter en détail ce qu'est le projet Flux.
Что за 10 параллельных цепочек? Имеется в виду другие сети, то есть вы добываете Flux в сети Flux, да?
In dieser Folge, wie versprochen, das Flux Mining Tutorial mit allen wichtigen Infos, die ihr braucht, um hier Flux zu minen. Viel Spaß und bis gleich.
Aquí tiene un pago mínimo a partir de los 5 Flux minados, te van a pagar
3950 तक भी गया था हमारा hash rate 36 Ti पे 41 and 34.7.
É um projeto aí que traz para a nova geração uma melhor escalabilidade e descentralização aí a respeito da tecnologia em nuvem, da infraestrutura da tecnologia em nuvem.
We are live. Ollie, how the hell are you this morning?
Good. How are you, Dan?
Good, man. No complaints. Just kind of getting up and getting going for the day. Man, it's hard to sleep when you got so much cool shit going on. There, I made it 30 seconds into the show and I already cursed. So I'll try to behave, guys. I'll try to behave. I'll do better. Whoever was roasting me the last time about using the F word, I'll try to use it less. Okay. Ollie, what's new and exciting?
Everything exciting, Dan. I can't wait for new things to come up into Flux, and Snapshot is coming up next. Node halvening is another big thing that's coming March 1st. A lot of things are happening. We're gonna see a lot of people coming in and running nodes. People are gonna have a lot of opportunities here. So I'm very excited to see what's coming up for us.
Man, I couldn't agree more. And it really is exciting to see all of this coming together. Good job with the videos coming in. I like the little bit of knowledge that you gain. So everybody that's on the live stream, pay attention to those videos when they come in because they tell a story. They talked about the node halvenings. They talked about the upcoming snapshot. They talked about, kind of fundamentally what we're doing. So pay attention to those guys. Come on. Well, welcome everybody to another AMA with Dan. So you guys aren't getting tired of me yet because of seeing y'all showing up online. And I really do appreciate you guys coming today and taking time out of your day. Somebody was making their breakfast, getting ready to eat their breakfast and watch this live stream, Ollie. So that's pretty awesome. So let me start out by saying this. What I'd really like to do is kind of recap of what we have going on. We had some stellar news come out yesterday, specifically around the partnership with Seed. So one of the things that we want to do with the project is make the infrastructure easily accessible for the end users. So that's not some hyped up, canned up, branded piece of equipment that we're selling. We're working with a partner to put out high quality infrastructure. Jetsons, and if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. You can grab that on our Twitter feed is the link to the page, and it describes each one of the nodes and what you can run. And I think you can run everything but the big boy on those nodes, which is pretty awesome. So we want to make that easily accessible for individuals to go out and buy the hardware. The other thing is in phase 2. So right now you can buy it today. You can buy Jetson today. You can deploy it on the network. You do the work. You put it together. You're now a node operator. In the future, in quarter 2, what we're looking to do is have these nodes pre-configured so that basically anyone could come in, buy a node, have it deployed to them, put their node key in, their IP address, and bam, they're running a node. And that's a big deal. One of the biggest things that we've heard about, the need to scale this infrastructure higher on both ends, because we have this new off-chain scenario with Titan, and we have the new, node tiers coming out. So we want to make sure it's easy for people to run. And Ollie, I even see very, very soon, let's say a large hardware provider providing access to pre-configured and ready to roll servers that can be deployed both to yourself, to your house, put it in my closet, or you can deploy it to a colo center of your location all across the United States.
Oh, that's pretty neat. And that's different from the Seed.
Yeah, that'd be pretty badass. So that you really have kind of two ends of the spectrum there. You have, the folks that want to participate and run in the network, but they don't necessarily want to, house enterprise infrastructure in their family room. My wife would probably shoot me. I've tried. So then, or you can colo it and deploy it. And some, a lot of people will just run it, if they have the ability to get the multiple IP addresses to run it at their house. And bigger news than that, we are in the process of working on being able to run multiple nodes on IP with your IP address with IPv6. Matter of fact, we hired somebody to the team who's had 30 plus years in technology specifically around this, and he's working on it right now as we speak. So
you're saying then I can run multiple nodes in my house?
That's the goal. So
Man.
I can't tell you when. We'd love to have it before the halvening, but I don't know that. I mean, we're really kind of trying to rework how the internet works. I mean, just mild stuff like that. But no, yeah, the ultimate goal is to allow multiple nodes from one IP address with IPv6.
Oh, that's pretty neat, and that's very neat.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that we keep things as decentralized as humanly possible. And if we have people running gear at home, we want them to have as much access to as much gears that they can possibly use. So I think that'll be a big thing. Housekeeping note, if you haven't and you're on the live stream, like and share. Guys, this is how we get out there and let other people know what we're doing. So the more that we like and share, the more that we go on Twitter and we live tweet and engage. You guys are all part of the army. If you're sitting there eating your breakfast, or if you're sitting there with a beer and you got it on your TV or whatever, take a moment, like, share, bring new people into the project. The other piece of housekeeping before we get into the questions, Ollie, is this. We will be hosting a Twitter space directly after this. So everybody out there listening, if you haven't had enough of Dan, come listen to us. Your friend Andy's going to be joining me along with Ollie, and we're going to be talking about Web3 and proof of useful work, the concepts to come. So I think it's going to really be a good space. If you haven't used space in the past, check it out. I mean, it's kind of cool because you can listen and you don't have to really, you can just kind of take it around with you. I listen to them when I'm mowing the grass or, whatever, just kind of participate and listen to what's going on. And you don't really have to be in one particular place. So check it out. All right, Ollie, without further ado, let's rock some questions. We got 70 questions, guys, that you guys seriously jammed it up. So I think we'll probably have to break this into at least 2 parts. And we'll get as many questions today as we can. If we don't get your question today, I will run another AMA this week, and we will knock that out as well.
All right, perfect. So the first question is, so apart from the current upcoming new node environment, what are the plans for storage nodes? A decentralized Dropbox, is that coming soon?
So essentially, Flux Share is already deployed. You can share files directly from your node structure. So in theory, the fundamental underpinnings of what Dropbox will on Flux would look like is already complete. The one thing that we have to work on though is we have to have the ability to roll it out effectively and be able to support it effectively. So it's kind of the best kept hidden secret of the project that it does exist. It is cool when we're sitting there, and Goose is like a big one that uses it all the time. He sends all the video, everything that he sends over to me, Ollie, is all on Flux Share. So as far as it goes to the storage nodes, I think you're going to see that the all 3 of those nodes are going to be specialized nodes. And we're going to start talking about how those specialized nodes work. And I would imagine that the Cumulus node would be our storage node. So we would be able to stack storage on top of that, and you would be incentivized at a higher rate. You would still get your normal block reward like everything else. But as we utilize the space, I think you could see an incentivization of, let's say you ran a storage node on that, and you were using that for storage, then the next thing you know, you're going to be incentivized in whatever project that's doing it, but in this case you would say it was storage. Okay, so there's going to be, each one of these tiers are going to really be different workhorses for different pieces of platform. So yes, coming soon.
All right, so the next question is, how does Flux team pay themselves?
Pay? What the hell's pay? We don't get paid, guys. This is we the pay that we get is the opportunity to be in the space and work with you guys. That's payment enough for me. But in all seriousness, though, the Flux team is paid directly from the foundation. So we were really super good stewards of resources. We saved our pennies, even through the bear cycle, and we are able to. I mean, we got 55 plus developers and teammates working full time in some capacity. We just literally this week we added 3 more full-time employees. So I mean, the growth patterns are insane. You're going to see each one of these folks working on a specific part of the project. And like anything else, we're mining with our mind. So we're going out there and we're participating. And I encourage anyone else that wants to participate in the project to do the same. Come mine with your mind, work with us, earn some Flux, and you'll be happy. But yes, currently the team is incentivized with Flux through the foundational rewards that we have squirrel away like nuts, essentially through the winter last year. So it was quite interesting.
Yeah, and good thing you brought it up, Dan, because there was a question a little bit earlier. Says I'm a dev and I don't have enough Flux to run a Flux node. How can I get enough to get a Flux? So you brought a good
If
point.
you're if
If
you're a
you're yeah,
dev, come into Discord, come in and get some testnet coins and deploy on testnet. You can do that for free. So we'll give you as much testnet flux as you want. I think 40,000 for the big boy is, pretty regular for us to give testnet coin out and deploy. But the whole reason why we deployed testnet, well, I mean, part of it's going to be our kind of our playground for proof of use of work, but it's great for anyone that's thinking about running nodes after the halvening and making sure they want to benchmark them correctly. Testnet, go in there. It's hashtag testnet, and you request coins. They'll send them to you. You deploy, check it out, make sure everything's running, and then when you're ready, you can go live on mainnet.
All right. So next question is, could you tell me if the performance of the upgraded new nodes can match today Coinbase's outage?
We would have been able to save them post Super Bowl. I do believe that we have enough resources running that we would have been able to save them. My calculation in what they deployed, if I was sitting in the Coinbase seat, look, I'm a CIO by heart, and you think about the impact of what's coming in, something that large. I would say probably majority of it was running on AWS. I would say they didn't deploy enough infrastructure, which is a shame because I thought it was a very cool commercial. And in the end, my son jumped up and scanned it right away when the QR code came up. I'm like, dude, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, the kids don't know, man. They're just scanning whatever the hell pops up. But the idea was great. The execution was piss poor, and I think we could have helped them with that. Yes.
All right. So next question is, does Flux team prefer a home server node versus a VPS?
Always bare metal over VPS, but we're realistic. We don't want to tell our end users what to do. But I would say this: if you can deploy at home, that's run a Raspberry Pi, run a Jetson, run a server. One of the servers we're speccing out for that you can pick up is going to be just a desktop based server that'll run a couple nodes on it. Throw it under your desk, plug it in, and let it run. That's decentralization, folks. Be very leery. Look at, if you're not super, I mean, I understand you get cost is a big deal. So we're working with a couple VPS providers too to try to curtail some of the cost and on other platforms to try to start spreading this out. It's just like pools. You think of it that way. The pool is for a proof of work project, pools have always been a pain in the ass. Mostly because, you get one pool that's popular. Nobody really thinks about it. They go mine at that pool. And next thing you know, they got 60% of the hash rate. And then as a team, we sit there and we have to come in and yell at everybody and tell them to spread your hash. So if you're a miner and you're listening to this, spread your damn hash. It just helps, right? Well, it's the same way with VPSs. So if you're deploying on a VPS, check out where you're deploying. Check out whether the price is significant between where you'd be a little bit more decentralized versus, Contabo or something in Germany. So yeah, bare metal for the win.
All right. So next question is, what's the difference between the Render project and the Flux proof of useful work?
I think Render is doing something completely different because they're not based on a blockchain. They're actually just computational resources that I believe are a bit more centralized. I like the project, and I think what they're doing, I think we could actually see us reach out to them and chat with them about how we could, provide additional resources. I think, you'd be naive to think that there was only going to be one winner in this race for Web3, and the folks that are willing to work with other projects that are doing something unique from them. I think it's a big deal. So we're going to look at it a little bit. We look at, with proof of use of work, Render looks at one specific piece of the pie, and that's the computational resources of the GPUs, right? Whereas proof of use of work looks at it holistically. So it's going to look at, Jetsons and Pies and, FPGAs on the off chain. You could see an FPGA running off chain, not on the proof of work side of the house, but on the other side of the house. So, I mean, could you imagine, Ollie, a node where you can snap in an FPGA and you can deploy that to useful work. So your node's running, you're getting Flux, but you have an FPGA that's providing computational resources to the network, which also yields you more Flux. So,
No.
we talk. We've done this as we've provided software power on the network that currently exists. But how about scaling that network out? You have more hardware, you get more rewards. You have a crap ton of storage space, and you're providing it to our storage class. Then you make more Flux. You have FPGAs that are running on your servers, and you can provide compute resources to proof of work, useful work. There you go. So, and to be clear, never, ever, 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 ever will an FPGA and or ASIC touch the main chain. We will always be GPU. We will always be ASIC resistant. We will always make sure that that chain is decentralized. So I don't want anybody getting twisted and going out into Twitter and saying Dan said something about an FPGA. So put it in context and make sure you understand what you're talking about. I'm talking about FPGAs for computational resources and proof of useful work.
All right. So next question is, when is Ledger supported for Flux?
So Ledger's there. I mean, you can do it now with your Binance Smart Chain. I believe you can keep any Binance Smart Chain asset on a Ledger. We don't put a lot of focus on the hardware wallets. I will tell you, one of the initiatives for the Zelcore side is to eventually bring in hardware wallet support, but it isn't going to be like what you've seen in the past. I am not a huge fan of the Ledger platform. I personally do own one, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it can be done differently, and we're working on a way to do it differently. So you can hold it now. If you want to go from main chain to Binance Smart Chain and stick it on a Ledger, there you go. So
Even on the other assets, parallel assets like Ethereum, you can still hold that on the hardware wallets.
Yeah.
So it's not just limited.
I eventually see us. We've already been talking to a few partners about having an actual hardware deployed that will actually sync to Zelcore, so that you would be able to store your assets on the hardware wallet through Zelcore as kind of the front end. Is it on the roadmap? I don't know. There's other cool shit that they're doing that I'd rather them do than that. Right now I hold my assets in Zelcore, and I have a Ledger, and hell, I even have some paper wallets floating around out there. So I would suggest everybody just kind of do that. But if you're not comfortable with it and you want to hold it on Ledger, move to ETH, Flux ETH, and then stick it on a Ledger.
All right. So next question is, when Zelcore NFT support, and what are the future plans for NFTs?
Oh, these NFTs, man. Guys kill me with this shit. So I officially am buying my first NFT, Ollie. So we have a gentleman who has, if you haven't seen the Flux apes, this guy designs all of the apes using his fingers on an Android phone. And let me tell you something. It is fantastic, and I love it. I think that's a great use case for NFTs, and I want to be able to store my Dan ape that he's created 2 or 3 Dan apes for me, which, by the way, my wife says is a spitting image, so which is interesting. So you're going to see that in Zelcore very soon. Support for the Solana ecosystem, and there may be another ecosystem that gets dropped in there as well that I think everybody's really going to be excited about. So we have some upcoming partnership announcements that we're going to be dropping here within the next couple of weeks, specifically around NFTs and how that looks. So yeah, I mean, I get it. You guys want the NFT, you guys want NFTs, and then from the Flux side of the house, we're going to work once we have our persistent storage solution in place, which, by the way, is being tested today. So IPFS is in place on Flux today. We're testing out how we're going to deploy this. We're going to have persistent storage across all the nodes. That's coming. As soon as that's out there, then I think what you're going to see is those storage nodes that we talked about will be repositories for, every NFT has 2 parts. It has a smart contract deployment piece, but it also has the physical items, whether it's the JPEG or whether it's a short GIF, or in my case, I want to see it so that it's long content. So like if I produce a documentary and I want people to have access to that documentary and be able to reuse that, Flux will house that data in perpetuity forever. Can't take it down, can't lose it, can't get rid of it. It's on Flux. Infinity contract is there. Boom, you're there. That will then incentivize people, artists that want to be their own stewards of whatever they've created, which, by the way, Kanye West just did this with it to a certain extent. He said, hey, I'm not going to release music unless it's on this particular platform. But if you think of it in a grander scheme, I'm going to release this CD, but you're going to have this NFT to access it. So, yeah, I think there could be, a ton of resources there. And that is literally where we're headed, and I believe after the halvening, I think you'll see that launch. But as far as Zelcore NFTs, I think that's within Q1.
I just want to post another question there in regards to NFT. So it's saying, can Flux Node host my NFT marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely. And we just had somebody deploy an NFT marketplace to start testing. Yeah, if you can Dockerize it, if you can get it all into a Docker and deploy it, we'll help you. We'll help you walk through the processes. We're working on Little Stash, who is full time on the project now, is working on what we call our Jetpack, which is our developers' ease of use kit. So our goal is to make Flux as easy as AWS, and that's our target over the next month and a half. So I think we're 85% of the way there. Is it hard to deploy on the network? Yeah, we had, matter of fact, a little teaser. I don't know if I can say this. We had a partner project that just recently, if you guys go back to GitHub, you can find it yourselves, that deployed their entire front end infrastructure for their website like last night. I opened it up and there it was. I was like, wow, that's pretty badass. So, yeah, if you can Dockerize it, you can put it on Flux, have at it. And if you have a project that you're working on and developing, apply to Flux Labs. Guys, Flux Labs is huge, man. We've got at least 7 new projects that are being built on the space. The criteria for Flux Labs is you have to be well developed, you have to have a company in place, you have to be doxed, you meet the criteria to become a partner of Flux Lab. But we just added the Flux NFT guys. We've got Dropaloo, we've got Atlas. We've got, I don't know, Ollie,
KDX,
KDL launch. So, yeah, I mean, you guys apply to labs, help maybe get some funding, maybe get some, advice, some legal advice or anything like that. So, yeah, that's what it's there for.
All right. Next question is, how many team members does Flux have? A lot.
A shit ton.
Yeah.
Way more. I started asking around other projects because I was curious. Do we have enough devs? Do we have too many devs? Which you never have too many devs. But Steve Ballmer said in his famous Microsoft speech, devs. That's how you're successful. Bring those developers in. We have about 50. And I don't quote me, but it's about, it was like 55, but I think we're up to like 57, 58 employees. And that is, we have developers working on Flux OS. We have developers working on Flux, the asset. We have, people that are working on Zelcore and Coin Request. Oh, that doesn't even, the 55 doesn't take into account Zelcore, which I think is around 11 or 12. Zelcore just put out yesterday, Ollie, I don't know if you saw it or not, but they put out to the friends of Zelcore. You can see it in our announcement channel, but let me read these statistics off because I about crapped my pants when I read this because I didn't realize how fast, I knew Flux was growing fast, but I didn't realize how fast Zelcore was growing in lieu, right behind Flux. So Zelcore now has over 400,000 users, which is insane. So, I mean, comparing that metrics to a lot of other projects out there, we're not a Coinbase, but damn, we're on our way. There's 2.5 million wallets deployed in Zelcore. So that in itself is absolutely insane. 70,000 monthly active users. So 70,000 people that are not just hodling, they're using it for, transactional, items and whatnot. iOS, we had our fourth quarter downloads in iOS was 45,000 for Zelcore and iOS, and then 50,000 on the Google side of the house. So over 100,000. Well, 95,000. 60 chains, 60, and it supports 60 chains. It's got 300 plus native asset coins that are integrated, and over 45,000 tokens. And that probably number is way higher than that. And then if you add NFTs on top of that, it's probably going to be even higher than that. They 4x their Twitter followers or engagement is their average monthly engagements are about 470,000 engagements on Twitter, which is pretty insane. Yeah, and they rolled out their very first survey and they got a ton of response back. So I don't share enough love for the Zelcore side of the house like I should, because I love Flux and I love Zelcore too. But if you have kids, you treat them fairly, but you don't necessarily treat them equally. So, you know what I mean? I love what Flux is doing. So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was a big deal.
I just want to add it in, Dan, the recent partnership with FIO protocol, which I don't think many know about.
Oh man, we didn't even talk about that. That's a big deal. Yeah, that's a big deal. The fiat protocol and being able to have one address for all your stuff, that's really a big deal.
And a custom handle that you can have one address for all. And they do support some exchanges as well. They can have support for multiple wallet and exchanges. So that's a pretty neat deal for Zelcore as well. Just, not knowing or making a mistake on your addresses. So they'll take that out of the picture completely.
How with all this crap that's going up in Canada where they're basically seizing people's bank accounts, how important is non-custodial platforms now? We were doing it before it was cool, right? So I think non-custodial platforms are going to be the saving grace of tyrannical governments that are overreaching. So, I don't know, maybe that's a cypherpunk inside of me, but it is terrifying that a first world country is literally yanking people's bank accounts from them. It's really kind of terrifying. And no recourse. Like no recourse. If it's up to whoever the banker is at the institution, and there's no court of law, there's no nothing that they just arbitrarily cut you off. So I sure as hell hope that what we're doing in the States is well planned out. So yeah, let's all download Zelcore, and if you have assets on exchange, get it the hell off of there now. Guys, I'm serious, dead serious. Don't play the game. If you don't remember what it was like in the space before, wake up one morning and have $10,000 of your money completely gone, never to get it back. Get it off exchange.
That happened to a lot of people, Dan.
Well, it happened to me. Whole reason why Zelcore was born, and I'll tell that story some other time, but it's kind of a heartbreaking one, but it was heartbreaking at that time, but I didn't let that failure get me down. What I did is I used it as fuel, and that's how we launched Flux, and that's how we launched Zelcore, and we used that fuel to catapult us into Web3 where we're at today. So, it was expensive education. We'll leave it at that, Ollie.
All right. So next question is, how will the new node requirements impact the Flux ecosystem, market price, node profitability after more and more people getting into nodes? Will it affect mining profitability in any way?
Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, from an economic model, nothing changes. You're just lowering the requirements for the particular collateral on those nodes. Now, will there be more nodes on the network? Yes. I have said before, I believe we'll have 10,000 nodes probably in Q2 of next year on chain, and probably 10,000 nodes plus off chain as well. So, I mean, I think by the end of the year, you could see 20,000 nodes deployed, and we will easily be the largest. We're already the largest in terms of computational resources, but I think you could see us be the largest in terms of, we're not going to beat some of these shit projects that run crappy nodes, right? That you buy a bunch of their coin and you lock it up and you get a node. It's a Ponzi scheme, people. That's what it is. If you can't get your asset back, and you got to depend on new people coming into the platform so that you get your ROI, that is a Ponzi scheme. So be very, very discerning in the projects you get into. With Flux, we built it right. You can pull your coins back immediately. You never spend anything to deploy. You get your mining rewards and so on and so forth. So just be super careful with that, guys, because I see a lot of people FOMOing into these projects and they're saying, oh, you get 1,000% return on your investment if you buy all up this shitcoin and then burn it, and it burns, right? Any project that you can burn, and any project that messes with the economic model, and any project that takes your asset and gives you something afterwards is I'm not going to say it's a scam, but you can do your own research, right? So be careful, people. So we're not doing that with Flux. I think node profitability goes up. I mean, these are strictly the opinions of myself. I'm not a financial advisor. As Ryan, I wish Ryan Maddow was here and he could do that where he goes off 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't listen to anything that I have to say. Take it into your own, do your own research, so to speak. But I believe that the value of the nodes continues to go up because as we bring on more enterprise-based infrastructure and more projects that are going to require the nodes, we are literally have 3 projects in queue to start doing deployments and incentivization of the node operators for rapid deployment, just like we did with KDA. And as a matter of fact, KDA is moving from a local deployment to a global deployment to make room for those other projects. So you're gonna see the shift. Eventually, you'll see 3 new projects come on, and you can stand those up on the different tiers of nodes. And yes, I'm thinking about every tier. So the people that are running the basic nodes, don't freak out. We're already thinking about you. You're gonna do something. You're gonna make some extra flux.
And one thing I want to point out, Dan, as well, not only you get the stake collateral back, but you also keep your rewards, even if you just running the node for an hour or a day without any penalizing on it. So,
yep. Yeah, and look, this is iterative technology, folks. I mean, there is supply and demand. May 5th is our next snapshot. That in itself is going to allow you to deploy more infrastructure. So, I mean, does the cost of deployment and does the cost or the rewards go down as more nodes come online? Yeah, it does. That's how it works. I mean, especially in any deflationary economic model like Flux, there's more value. But guess what? You can have 0.000000001 Flux too. So we got to think up a name for that, Ollie, because we, like Bitcoin has, SAT, Satoshi. So what is the Flux equivalent to anything that isn't one Flux? A Fluxy?
Fluxy. Fluxion.
I'll give 100 Flux to the best, right here. You heard it. Ollie, write it down. 100 Flux to the best name for our micro part of our asset. So if you can come up with the equivalent of Satoshi and it's badass and we adopt it, I'll pay you 100 Flux.
I'll give you Flux on. How about that? Give me 100 Flux. That's a good one.
Ollie, you don't qualify.
Flux on.
Good try, though.
All right. So the next question is when Nvidia official is going to announce the Flux partnership?
All right. So, the Nvidia thing's interesting because, big business doesn't necessarily move like crypto. So we're very fast with all of our announcements and get it out to the community as fast as humanly possible. We would never announce an acceptance into inception if it wasn't real, because it would just be super detrimental to the project. We just wouldn't do that. But big players tend not to move like we move. So the last official release that you saw released to the media was actually co-written with Nvidia. So if you go back and you put in Google and you say Flux and Nvidia, Inception, go back, you can read it on Yahoo Finance, you can read it on all these different platforms. That, for us to be able to use the Nvidia logo and their ticker and all their other information, you have to submit all of this stuff to Nvidia. It went to the Nvidia team, it went to the Jetson team, it got approved, and it went out to the masses. So, I think the bigger question is like, what are we going to use them for? Because, we have this opportunity to kind of delve into things with them. You're going to see us work a lot on the Jetson side of the world, especially with our deployment that we're doing over there on the off-chain solution. But the bigger thing is it puts us in queue to have a resource that we can start to talk about proof of use will work with. And everyone knows in mining that Nvidia has not been kind and friendly to miners. It's just the way it is. They just, for whatever reason, their internal structure of how they view blockchain has always been quasi skewed. We're aiming to fix that. So we want to show that Web3 and development, and sometimes there's two levels of adoption. There's, your first level adoption is adoption by necessity. And then there's just voluntary adoption, bringing in and being proactive rather than reactive. Whether Nvidia is the first or the last, we're going to be there to help guide them into it as well. So I would say this, you're going to see, I just signed up for a speaking event of one of their inception pieces, and there's all kinds of stuff that'll come out down the road. But, people that are concerned about the partnership, I saw a video the other day where it says, is Nvidia a trap for Flux? Did you see that, Ollie?
Yeah, I saw that video actually.
It was actually a really good video. It was actually a really good video and well thought out. The guy that made it was he's thinking ahead, and his concern is Nvidia working with us to, finagle our intellectual property away so that they become, the big player in, decentralized compute. No, guys, didn't work like that. We don't give up anything that we don't want to give up. And I didn't get to the point in this game where I'll give anything up for without getting something back equally important. So there's really no need to worry about that. And you're going to see a lot of other just like logical Web2 partners coming into play. They're like every other first mover at the enterprise level. They move in a little bit and they wait and see what happens. So I think you're going to see as they develop out their Jetson side of the house, and we're giving them a hell of a use case, you're going to see partner projects that are in that inception to start working with Flux as well. So, I think there's a lot of good stuff coming up, but don't look for Nvidia to go, touting Flux from the rooftops, right? This is their backside play to, have exposure, but not necessarily to a crypto based project, but actually a blockchain based project. And it's opportunity for us to be in a program with 7,000 other participants in Web 2 that we're going to be able to help facilitate, new infrastructure for. So plant the seeds, guys. This is what we do. It's a long, remember Organic Dan, Ollie, the Organic Dan, today's
Correct.
your preach for the, what was I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I still remember that delayed. What used to call that?
Delayed return on investment.
Delayed return
on investment. You delayed ROI, right? You put the effort in, you plant the seeds, you cultivate it, you make sure you keep building it, and eventually success is a byproduct of what you've created. So in these cases, we have to plant those seeds with legacy-based Web 2 infrastructure. We have to tell them why Flux and Web 3 is important. And that's our goal. So, we're working on cascading our image. There'll be some news coming out this month, specifically around some of the things we're doing with marketing and PR. And I'm pretty excited about, well, we'll just put it this way. It's a game changer for Flux. So I'm excited to see all of this come to fruition. Our team is growing, and I think you'll see more people come into the fray, like Nvidia, but every one of these, Web 2 based projects they're either going to go in deep and they're going to say, we're supporting these guys, or they're going to go in and they're going to test it and they're going to see exactly what it means to their business model. And either way, I don't give a shit. I'm getting the things that I need. So it's all good.
All right. So the next one is, will Nvidia help us with the Jetson supply? They are scarce right now.
It's the whole reason why we partnered with Seed. So, I mean, there will be some, we got a pretty good turnout today, guys. Like, share right now, please. We're in about, halfway through this thing. So like and share and get more people in here, please. Yeah, I think you'll see us work with them. I think you'll eventually see a portal where you'll have a little bit easier access to get infrastructure. But guys, chips are scarce. Like literally, chips are scarce. Like it's hard to get anything. Hell, cars, forget about it. My son went car shopping the other day. What a nightmare that was. I mean, what do you got? Like a $5,000 markup on the car on top of the retail price. Like there's no negotiating with these folks anymore. It's tyrannical market, man. So moral of the story is, keep looking. You utilize seed because these guys, that's what their whole business model is built around, and I think that'll help.
All right. So next question is, I don't know, it's kind of technical question. I'm not sure as well. I just posted here, Dan. So it's saying if I have a web server at home, will it affect the open port on the Flux node, for example, port 80 or 443, which is required for Flux node? Do we use port 80 or 443?
Hell,
I
I
thought
don't
we have
know.
different ports. Yeah.
That's a technical
Ooh.
question. We can throw that up in
Discord general.
Discord,
Yeah.
or get an answer from Trunk on that. I don't know enough about that. You know, they don't let me node.
Yeah,
They don't let me mess with anything, man. Like from the technical side of things, I did make several commits though. I will tell you, so I am officially a developer, Ollie. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought
I got my dev tag, bro. You go in there and check it out, man. I'm a dev. Terrifying.
All right. So next one is the kind of similar question. Also, let's leave it to the general on Discord. Do you think that open access to the IP addresses for all master nodes threatens security of the Web 3.0 infrastructure? As the home host, this issue worries me.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see is every legal opinion that we've gotten or input we've gotten, it falls around the guise of ISPs that are providing internet service. They can't necessarily be held accountable for content that flows through their network. So an end user who's running something blindly and if it deploys on the network, they can't hold. I mean, people download malware every day and it runs on their computer with porn and everything else on it, right? So is the person who has the computer that got the virus responsible for that? No. But we will have the ability to remove, any content that goes against the guidelines of the community. And where do those guidelines come from? They come from the XDAO. So when we're ready to open this thing up to any single person out there, the XDAO will have a set of governance models that you have to meet. So and criteria that you have to meet on network. Most of it would be, I could see it being like 2 sentences of things that you can't run. But other than that, and I don't think there's anybody in the world that would, anything, young children or anything like that. You know what I mean? That's just unacceptable and would never run on a network that I was ever associated with. And the community wouldn't want that either. So anyway, long story short is those pieces are in play to make sure that people meet criteria. The other thing is from a deployment standpoint, because we're using images that have already been approved through the Docker Hub, more than likely, they've already done some type of scanning on the front side to catch anything that would be constituted as bad content. So it's a multi-tiered approach for us to look at. And the ultimate goal is to make sure we protect our node operators and protect our community.
All right, so next question is a quick one. Any tutorial for bare metal? I want to run multiple Stratus nodes. I think Walter put a good video out, right?
Yeah,
recently?
Walter's got something going out there.
Check out Run on Flux YouTube channel. It's there.
Yep, it's there. It's there. And we're working on a wiki right now too as well. Ryan is Link, and I think Greggy Bear's working on it, and a few other people to put everything in like one easily digestible area for deployment on nodes. So that should help.
All right. Next question is: do you have any plan to let us buy the Nano Jetson? Can't find any at this moment. Does Seed have that?
Yeah, Seed has that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So check out Seed. Yep.
I think Ryan Matted DM'd me last night and said he bought one.
Okay. Next one is Flux prepared to ride a potential market correction if the market correction lasts several years?
Bring it. The best time for building technology is in a bear market. I said it. Unpopular opinion. Bear markets are great because for two different reasons. And I'm a perpetual bear. It gets rid of all these shit coins, like dog meme coins and stuff that doesn't belong in the space to begin with. You really clean the forest by burning out a lot of this BS. And the other thing is it does educate our end users, because when they lose money on these different projects, they won't necessarily leave the space, but what they'll do is they'll be more discerning about the projects they look at in the future. I mine shit coins just like everyone else, right? But I figured out very quickly, you know, what total supply was, what circulating supply was, you know, what economic models were, what white papers were, what GitHub commits were. Do your own research and make sure that, you know, you're investing in something awesome. But from the Flux side of the house, we're ready. I mean, we made it through the 2018, 2019 into 2020 bear market and build a juggernaut, and we'll do it again. So, yeah, I mean, the good thing about it is we've been very good stewards of our resources. We made sure we made right choices, and we made sure we aligned ourselves well. The core team is locked up for the foreseeable future. I mean, I'm not going anywhere till I'm dead. So, you know, if you guys have me till I'm 70, so be it.
We know how to survive, Dan.
Oh yes, you would. That's the whole reason. That's the whole reason we're a community project. There's another Dan out there somewhere that, you know, wants to come in and you know, emulate this and work with it, and I would embrace that. So if you want to lead a project someday and you want to, you know, step into the role, come in, put the work and time in, and then you can eventually step into the role of, you know, the front man for Flux. I encourage it. I encourage everybody to look at what they can do with the community. I think it's important.
All right, so there's some technical questions I'm gonna skip, Dan. Guys, just post those questions on Discord general. I think we got still a ton of questions and less time as well, so I'm just gonna quickly skim through the questions. Let's see.
Yeah, we got about I scheduled this till about 10 or 10:10, I think it was, and then the space starts.
Okay, 10:10. So we still have a little bit of time, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so this question, is there a script available to test server performance before going through the process of actually installing a Cumulus or Nimbus node? I believe so, yes, right?
Kevin, yes. Yeah, check out our testnet. Head into Discord and get in there and start looking at how you can deploy. So you can test every feature that you can do on mainnet, you can do it on testnet now. You'll feel unbelievably rich because you'll get like, you know, 100,000 Flux testnet coins, and you'll be like, damn, I wish this was real. That's why I don't test on the testnet, Ollie. I get reminiscent of when I was mining and getting all this massive stack of Flux, and then, you know, now it's like still good. It's still good, right? We're super early.
Yeah. Okay, so this question is, how do you handle dynamic IPs when hosting a bare metal node? I don't know if this is...
I think we talked about that
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah. So the IPv4 versus IPv6 and dynamic. Yeah. I mean, it all goes together hand in hand. So got a guy that's working on it full time. He's a senior developer. He is the guy is a wizard. So we're really excited. The first couple passes that we've seen come down the pike is unbelievably promising. So I believe you're definitely going to see IPv6 on nodes. I do believe that. Trunk might shoot me for saying that, but I believe it.
So the support is only going to be IPv6 then, not IPv4?
No, it would be IPv4 or IPv6.
Oh, the both. So I had a comment
yeah.
there earlier that
Yeah.
mentioning about only IPv6
No.
support.
No.
Okay, so it's both.
No, it'd be both. It'd be both.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. All right, the next question is, this is something also important. Can Flux be purchased inside the Zelcore wallet?
Juggernaut. That's an interesting picture. I don't know what you're wearing there, man. Looks like you got camp gear on. You're ready to rumble or something. Yeah. There's an announcement that's going to be coming up next week specifically around this. You will be able to go straight from fiat or from fiat to Flux. So we're super excited about that. We are also adding some additional features to Eve, which will be super nice as well. But our goal is to get Flux and Zelcore, especially Zelcore, to be as well developed as humanly possible, that you really don't need a bank to really facilitate what you're doing. So, you know, one of our early little sayings that we said was, you know, the bank in your pocket. You know, essentially that's what we're looking at. And boy, is it timely and really important right now, because see, I was going to curse there, guys. See, I'm getting better at this. It's really important because the things that we're seeing happen around us are validating all of our, you know, tinfoil hat conspiracy theories that, you know, us cypherpunks held for years, right? So having that platform developed out so that you got Flux as the decentralized backend because you can still attack a platform. All these wallets that are running out there now, Exodus, Koinami, Blue Wallet, all these, their infrastructure is centralized, guys. So if you want to go after that, platform, you can go after that platform. But you know the one that's not centralized? That's Flux. Flux runs on, I'm sorry, Zelcore. Zelcore runs on Flux. So you got to look at these pinch points too as well, because these are the way that they get you. So they say go to a non-custodial wallet, but if the non-custodial wallet is hosting their infrastructure on a centralized platform, you're no better off than you were sitting in the centralized exchange to begin with. So be aware of that. That's a big deal.
All right, so next question is, after E 2.0 comes out, how much are you ready to handle the hash rate that might turn to Flux?
All the hash. Mine all the Flux. We want to be the replacement for ETH. We will. There's only one project out there that is a logical step for the folks that are currently mining ETH, and that is Flux. It has the use case, it has the team, it has the business development model, it has the support, it has the price, it has the structure. Flux has been on what to mine, top 3, top 1. We were over. Somebody just did a video the other day and they were saying how we're over, Flux is over ETH on a lot of different platforms. Price is down a little, so we might not be there yet, but it's a logical choice. And I think that that's where people will head. So look, guys, what other projects are out there? Like, seriously, and I'm not talking crap on any project, but what project out there do you see that actually adds any value or use case to anything we're doing in blockchain? Other than a fork of a fork of a fork of a fork of a shitcoin. So I'm not talking crap on other projects. I'm not. But look at their GitHubs, look at their commits, look at their development model, look what they're trying to do. And if they're stagnant or dead, or they don't even do anything anymore, they get the hell away from them. Go mine Flux and understand delayed return on investment and understand exactly what we're doing as a project.
Yeah, and also most people may know that we also Nicehash. The Nicehash is also giving us the rental for Flux, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm doing a podcast with them next week. So I don't know. It's bittersweet because Nicehash was my enemy for so long, and now it's like I'm kind of cool with them. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
Same thing here.
Yeah, I mean, you get to a certain point where you got to let people participate in the network, and they're going to do it no matter what you want, if you want it or not. As long as they understand that, we as a community will spread our hash appropriately. So, I would like to see Nicehash pay out directly in Flux is what I'd like to see. That would be kind of cool.
We can bring that up on the with the interview.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Put them on the hot seat, right?
Exactly. All right. So next question is Flux considering producing content like short documentaries showcasing the Flux use cases for the general public? Square does this type of content that's pretty great.
Yeah, one of the things we've been looking at too as well is the new marketing and PR team that has been developed is going to look at shorts. Behind one of the cool things that I think is going to be unique is we're going to do a behind the scenes in the life of Flux. So it's going to follow, myself and Parker and team members, just kind of give you a insight of, what's happening behind the scenes. So it's like I don't know. My wife says that it's going to be like a mini series, but it's not. It's just going to be kind of fun. I think it's going to be cool. You're going to see me probably sit and curse at the screen. It's definitely going to be what is a little warning they put on there, for PG. It's going to be PG-13 at best. So
all right, so the next one is, are we going to see more ability to buy more cryptocurrencies on the ETH dApp? Where's ETH?
Hell yes. Yes. ETH is going to be huge. Guys, I'm telling you, I saw ETH for the very first time functionally in a build out, and I literally the hair on my arms just stood up because it is so forward thinking that I felt like I felt like it was an epiphany moment, you know, like when I discovered the internet, or I discovered, you know, Bitcoin, or I discovered cryptocurrencies, you know, like that moment when you're like, wait a minute, this shit's legit. Like, this is going to really change the game. Like, we're going to be able to aggregate data from all of these exchanges, get you the best price, you know, and it's all done hands off, you know. That's next level shit. You talk about adoption, that is next level stuff, and it all runs on Flux. So, you know, that's the amazing part behind it is, you know, we talk about those pinch points, man. It's like, you know, you got to get your infrastructure running on a decentralized network that they can't be controlled.
Cool.
The Kraken, well, I want to tell you this. The Kraken boys came out and said, you know, we can't help you. If your assets are on exchange and Canada shuts them down and takes them, they can take them. So just remember that.
All right. So how secure is the data that enterprise companies might store on Flux nodes? How can we gain their trust? Please share your thoughts.
We talked about this with the Nvidia thing. It's going to be an incremental process. You know, I've been in technology for 25 plus years. I was one of the early originators in the technology that would push adopters, you know, innovators. You know, I like disruptive stuff. So I was very early in the cloud world. And the majority of the folks are like, no, I'm not putting my data on a cloud. Where's the cloud? What is it? Is it? I don't even know what that is. Who has my data, right? So there was this period of about 5 years where we really had to work to educate people so that they could start moving from bare metal into the cloud. And I think there's going to be a period here where we continue to keep working, and you'll get, you know, legacy-based enterprise Web 2 infrastructure that starts to dip their toe. So that's how we do it, right? And when we moved from bare metal to the cloud, we moved a server, and then we watched. And we said, okay, is this everything we need? And then we moved another server, and then another server, and another server. And the next thing you know, we're sunsetting every, you know, bare metal server that we have, and it's all moving to the cloud. So I think you're going to see that somewhat like this. You're going to see the Web 2 folks who want to be exposed to Web 3. They love the idea of the decentralization. They want to make sure their data is protected. They want to make sure everything's established the way it's supposed to, and they'll deploy something. And then this is a symbiotic relationship between Web 2 and Web 3. They'll deploy something, they'll watch it mature and grow, and then they'll deploy more and more and more and more. And then that's how we continue to keep scaling. And by the way, I don't want every single platform in Web 2 come into Flux tomorrow, because we have halvenings and scaling to still facilitate. So over the next year, between the halvening and, you know, launching the first iteration of proof of useful work, at least on testnet, and, you know, our ability to scale, and also Titan's huge. Ollie, Titan's huge, dude. Like, I can't wait to start telling people about the fundamental underpinnings of Titan. Just, I get excited when I talk about it.
All right. So next question is, what is the biggest difficulty Flux team is facing right now, if there's one?
The big shout out to Mototech. He was a big piece of helping us get aligned with Seed. And if you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, I highly recommend it. He's got great content. Show him some love. All of the Flux family out there, just get on there and like and subscribe to his stuff. I would say the big difficulty right now is like, I could give you the standard canned answer and, you know, tell you about how amazing, you know, we are and we don't have problems, but we're like every other business platform out there that's building. And that is, I would say our biggest difficulty right now is effectively conveying to Web 2 exactly what Web 3 value add is. And we have to synchronize that pitch, that elevator pitch, so that everyone in the community acts as evangelists of what the technology is. You guys see me sometimes post a tweet and say, make it rain, be educated, be, you know, discerning, explain things, and make it easy. So I think you're going to look at the marketing and PR company and team, specifically start to align our message that we're going to cascade to those individuals. Because look, I spent 2 hours in a room with a bunch of people wearing suits, and I was in my hoodie, right? Explaining to them why, you know, I'm not some crazy cypherpunk, and why Web3 actually is like really tangible. And it started out with the conversation being very, very one-sided, that, you know, they looked at it as, you know, disruptive technology that is just, you know, You know, it's not worth the value. And by the end of the conversation, they're working with us. So, you know, if you can open people's eyes, but we don't have 2 hours to convey that information, all of us, you know, we have very short windows of time that we can do that. So that's the biggest thing. I would say our biggest challenge is getting our verbiage correct so that we can explain exactly why Flux is the most valuable gem of Web3. And it really is Web3 overall. There's nothing out there I see that even comes close. And you're going to see a lot of people come in and start to, I've been watching Twitter, and these people that were, you know, they had their names like DeFi Dan or whatever the hell it was, you know, now it's all of a sudden Web3 Dan, right? Like, you know, they're going to start to adopt, you know, hey, let's go after AWS and build something. It's like, all right, dude, been there, done that. So we have to showcase why our product is better than anyone else. And we also look to engage additional partners that are logical partners that help us grow. All that shit about, it's white noise, man. I don't even listen to it. If I see somebody do that, I just laugh at them and keep going, because in the end, you keep your eye on the prize. So if we build the tech and we build it effectively the way that we're supposed to, the byproduct of that is going to be success. So that's where we're at. That's our biggest challenge. Financially, we're in good shape. Team-wise, we're in good shape. We have lots of devs. We have amazing projects. We have, you know, everything that's right with the world. Our growth has been exponential. You know, I turn more people away every day not to work on the project at a higher level, because we have to really get the best talent in the space. And I think you're going to see some really interesting faces coming on board soon too, by the way.
All right, so next question is, what are the fees like on Flux? Well, next to nothing, 0.0001 something.
I mean, I don't know. You can stand a Minecraft server up for like 0.1 Flux. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, we're setting it up to make it's going to be completely free for deployment. Yeah, and this company we were working with that just deployed a bunch of stuff on Flux, they're like, wait a minute, I don't understand how this works. Like, this all deployed, it all is up, it's all working, but how the hell do you not be able to charge anything for this? And I said, well, we don't have to charge anything for this because it's incentivized from the chain itself and the individuals providing the network resources. It is a paradigm shift. It takes what we have always known in technology and flips it upside down and 360 and whirls around, as Wrench would say, yeets it right up on its head. So, you know, people have to take time and to try to understand that, and that's our goal, is to make sure that they understand it.
Yeah, and just adding on the transactions, it's just very minimum as far as the fees goes with Flux blockchain.
Yep, super minimum.
Very minimum. Okay, cool. Next one is, when can I buy Flux on Zelcore with PayPal or my credit card?
Well, we just talked about that. So what? See, there I go. There is a platform that we'll be utilizing for fiat on-ramp. It'll be announced probably this week, unless you rewind that and you can put the rest of the word together, and then you'll understand it.
Okay.
I get too damn excited, Ollie. I want to tell everything all the time. So they're going to strategy. Part of strategy is not telling all your strategy.
Yeah, you cannot announce that right now. All right, so
let's do two more questions, and we'll wrap it up. Yeah.
Let's see.
I'll go fast too.
All right, so this question is, are there any plans to enhance the FluxOS to build other functionalities of AWS like ECS access and identity configurations, etc.?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we have the model to do all of those things. So yes. I mean, I don't know what that timeline looks like. You know, we're working right now on a little bit more in-depth timeline. You know, we're trying to get all of our ducks in a row. So you're going to see, you know, we're working on org charts and reporting structure, and we're working on, who are our client list. We just instituted, an internal model of well, I'm not going to give you many details because we're going to use it as a publicity piece, but we're going to do we're going to do basically all the service desk and also the sales models built on Flux as well. So, I think that's going to be pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, you're only limited to your imagination.
All right, last question, Dan. What aspects of Flux are you most excited about for 2022?
Oh my God, you saved that one for last, Ollie. You set me up. I mean, how can you not be excited for like every single damn thing? I mean, I would say I'm very excited to see the halving come up. My wallet's excited to see the snapshot coming up. You know what I mean? Deploy some more nodes. I mean, I'm really super excited about proof of useful work. I think that, our first iteration in building that out, we have a really good team that we're starting to form specifically around that. And that's not just in the blockchain sector, that's in the tech stack. And, we'll have some of the best minds sitting around trying to figure out how to make proof of useful work be valuable. A couple teasers is, coming up in the next few months, you're going to see the relaunch of the Paradigm platform, which is electronic medical records deployed on Flux. So this is the first time you guys are hearing about that, but it's actually going to be a labs-based project, and we're going to start to, opt in EMR platform. I think you're going to see the rebrand and relaunch of Coin Request. I think we're going to align it more with the Zelcore side of the house and how that's going. I think that's a big deal because we need to have platforms for crowdfunding for logical reasons. So what Coin Request does in their like Patreon-like style, team pages will be opened up to the public for free. So you'll be able to stand up a Patreon style crypto page, and you'll be able to, as a content creator, be able to accept whatever crypto it is that you want. So I think you're going to see a lot of Labs is doing a lot of crazy stuff. With Cadix, I'm super excited about Cadix. I'm not going to lie. Blockchain by birth, these guys are bringing the heat. It will run on Flux, both front end and back end. This will be the very first decentralized DEX out there. And that is insane. That gives birth to an entirely, AWS goes down, Uniswap goes down. That's not a DEX. Dude, you're not a DEX, right? You're depending on infrastructure to run on centralized. If AWS decided they want to shut you down, you're shit out of luck. So Cadix is the very first one to take it to that DEX extreme and say, we're going to put it on your decentralized network. We're going to facilitate it through your decentralized network. And good luck keeping us down, because that's the way it is. And I don't know where they're all over the nodes. There's nodes all over the world. How do you stop that shit? So the cat's out of the bag, boys and girls.
All right, Dan.
That's it. So everybody, if you want to join the space, just get on Twitter, and it's this stupid little icon at the bottom of Twitter. Just in case you've never used it before, it has like four circles in it, and I'll be there. Ollie will be there, and your friend Andy will also be there. We'll be talking about some cool stuff. So like and share that as well. Retweet that. Get in there. Retweet it to everybody. Special shout out today to Jay Riggs. I believe he was live tweeting the event. So thanks, Jay Riggs. Special shout out to the entire dev team who has worked relentlessly. Especially a big shout out to Frogs and to Daesh and, all the guys that are, stepping up to deploy testnet and get it going. Special shout out to Jay Riggs and Jeff Key. And Jeff Key was the one that was live blogging too, by the way. I screwed that up. And Greggy Bear and all the other guys, Little Stash, that are working on Titan and really pulling that together quite nicely. So I got a chance to see Titan running the other day for the very first time and how it was going to deploy. And man, it's a big freaking deal. So, and last, I'll close out and just say a big special shout out to the community. You guys are the best. I mean, we wouldn't be where we're at today without you. Keep the questions coming. Have passion in what you do. This is something to be excited about. This is a game changer. And if you don't believe me, turn on the news. So, and let's build the future today. Thanks, guys.